Is Bunnings giving better service than real estate agents? Stay tuned.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Minutes, episode 486. Going into Bunnings to buy one item, coming out with 10. I had the privilege of hearing Mark all through his little Bunnings journey this morning before Morning Minutes, and I was very, very surprised, happy, impressed with the all-round. Everyone at Bunnings gave service-wise, and it was like, I think if you're looking compared to a rental agent, a sales agent, and the dollar value they're selling, I think there's a big argument that customers are getting better service from Bunnings. And I think let's talk about it.
It is possible. And you know what? I think it's scary that they've knocked off some corner stores across Sydney and across Australia, the traditional corner hardware. It was interesting this morning. I just had to grab something and opened very early. They're opening at 7 a.m. and no one else is opening at that time. The service in there is better. You sort of think to yourself, how's that going to change in the real estate industry when you look at these guys providing this sort of service? And there's a sadness to it because you do love your corner guys, your smaller operations, but there's a beauty to it as well because these stores are just massive and there's just everything in there. So yeah, interesting. As
Admiral says, it's crazy how they know everything, every aisle, where everything is. And you traditionally think you hear the big boxes and you're like, you love the convenience, but you hate what it does to small business. And then sometimes when they've got that monopoly, they reduce their service because they know there's no alternative. But with really what we're speaking more directly to Bunnings, with the experience, especially this morning, that they're not dropping the ball there. If anything, they're trying to justify being the point of contact to go to. And it's like you go in there to get one thing, you come out with 10. Just like what I overheard with one item, the information they gave, they offered to follow you up, send you a link with more information. That's more than some letting agents do or sale agents do when you go to them and go, $3 million property. Like, shit. Like, some will say, like with some agents, it's nature to be like, yep, here's another. If this house doesn't work for you, here's another one. But a lot don't. A lot don't even follow you up from your Saturday open. And he's asking to follow you up on whatever the machine or whatever it was, and it was just
a grinding filter or a grinding wheel or something I was buying, and I was like, no, that's okay. But yeah, you're right, man. I never even thought about that. And you know what? I've always said it that I reckon there's a market, and I reckon there's a place for a 24-hour real estate agency that's open 7 days a week. I can't understand why that isn't something that we do, because it's people's homes, it's people's accommodation. They want something done out of business hours. They need something done 10 o'clock at night or 1 o'clock in the morning. They can't get access. Very interesting concept having a 24-hour real estate agency, because definitely there is a press for hours. There's a press for that 9 to 5 for a hardware is not acceptable. That 9 to 5 for a real estate agent is not acceptable. Certainly our business hours are 8 to 8, 7 days a week. We're open, but it's quite interesting, I think, as how this is changing our industry.
Yeah, well, it's definitely when you're in the service business and the customer service, you've got to be available when they're not working. And traditionally people work 9 till 5, 8 till 6. So, and a lot of people these days are working 5-6 days. So it would be like if Bunnings was only open 9 till 3 when all the tradies are working, it'd really be quite frustrating. They've got to be open that 30 minutes, an hour before everyone goes to work so they can get stock, and that couple of hours after. I think Mimos probably were the first ones, weren't they, in Northern Beaches, and then McDonald's, and then you've got limited choice. So it's interesting. I think it just comes back to service, relating it to sales. There's always a lot of juniors who want to get straight into selling properties, just, I don't know, the prestige, what they think it will be, how they think it will change their life. And they most get the start in residential letting, and they don't give it the love or the power of good service. And if you can't get the basics right, just like that, like a gentleman at Bunnings, if you can't give good service selling a screwdriver, who will trust you to give good service for their $3 million home? It's just,
you know what? I noticed the more fancy people get in service, the more fancy people get in business, that the service level drops as the experience and the experience and education goes higher. So to give you an idea, a lawyer or different an accountant, they're actually much more. They're not a 24-hour business, whereas food, that sort of low-skilled stuff. Like I looked at the staff in Bunnings this morning, and a lot of them were 15, 16, 17-year-olds doing very basic jobs. But it seems McDonald's, same thing. A lot of young people, they do it well. They're trained heavily. But the service levels are definitely higher when the skill levels are lower. For some reason, don't agree with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's pumping gas at a service station.
Well, I think a big thing is when the skill level's lower, more people can do it, so it's a lot more competitive. When you've got to study 10 years to do that job and you've only got two people to pick from, one person to pick from, then you don't have the luxury of necessarily being picky. But when you can pick anyone, you pick the one who's got the smiling face, a good attitude. It's a basic skill. So I think that's a big point of it.
And I think in business, if you can be the hardest worker, you're always going to win the business. I know Tom Panos always says hustle beats talent when talent doesn't hustle. And I often think that in this day and age, talent is not hustling the marketplace. And hustle is time at work, time behind the tools. So I think if in our industry, if we want to hustle and we want to do better, I think longer operating hours, it will assist our clients better in the marketplace, whether it be buyers, whether it be sellers, whether it be prospective tenants or prospective landlords, existing landlords. I reckon it's a pretty awesome thing to offer people. People never refuse service out of hours if they need it.
Mm. Well, yeah. Anything else you want to add on to that? Power of good service.
Power of good service. I reckon our industry, as a real estate industry, we look at Bunnings, look at Macca's, look at some of these companies. I think the professional services and industries out there need to be a bit more accessible as online becomes more 24/7 and available and stuff's there. We need to be as an industry as well to help people. If someone is locked out for their keys, we should be there for them rather than sending them to a locksmith. If someone wants to come out of business hours to sign a lease or to see a real estate agent, we should be there for them. The times, our days are numbered, and I think that the days where you just don't think that shit's going to, the people are going to wait around, they're going to go somewhere else to an operator who does operate longer, harder, business hours, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Burge, it's already a big ethos with us. You look at how long an email inquiry sits. If you send an email, how long does an email inquiry sit in our account for?
A few minutes.
So, where the industry, I think they will get back to you the next day, most probably. An email inquiry that comes across from realestate.com or domain in our business will be answered within 9 minutes. Guaranteed you won't be waiting longer than 9 minutes. So I think that, and I know you're right, on average it's a couple of minutes anyway, but the maximum it is, and it's an office policy. So that's, as a buyer, when you've got a question, you want a bloody answer. You don't want to sit around.
Yeah, perfect. Alrighty. That's a wrap.
Let's go Saturday.
See you guys. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Cheers. Bye.